Hi. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Young Pastor Network podcast. I have back with us Jordan McClarnon, Nate Richie, two incredible pastors who Jordan is a young adult pastor. Nate is a young adult and youth pastor down at Tampa. And I'm so grateful for these guys to be back on, both incredible people. And like I said last time, both love to talk about themselves. So I love to create a space for them to just yap away about their lives and, their numbers and all that kind of stuff. No, so again, we started a conversation about young adult ministry last time, and I think I want to continue hearing from. Well, I'm going to continue hearing from these guys about ministry in general, life, everything that they're doing because they're incredible. But I do think that young adult ministry is a very interesting space, and I think that there is some things that we should be doing. I think there should be some things we're talking about. You know what I mean? Not ignoring. And I texted them some questions, and McClarnon he kind of went in on the fourth question, and so we're going to start there today. So the question I asked them was, "What's your thoughts on the ages in young adult ministry? We got college age, we got mid-20s, and late 20s / early 30s. Like, who do you think about whenever you're planning the services or wanting to build the ministry? How do you feel about the way the church communicates young adult ages, you know what I mean, within the ministry?" We all are dying to hear from you guys about this because I think that this is an interesting stage to speak from.
Yeah. Well, I'm the expert, so I can go first. But um, no, I think that this was one of the things that I didn't realize I was going to have so many conversations about when I first started in young adult ministry, is like actually defining what a young adult is. Because I think a young adult, that phrase just is kind of a catch-all phrase. When people say that word, they are thinking in their head of something, but they're not necessarily thinking about the same thing that you are thinking in their head. They
Yeah.
may be thinking about a college student, or maybe they're thinking about a 28-year-old, or they're thinking about a person who's in a specific life stage. And so I think that the best thing that you could do if you are starting young adult ministry is figuring out, your leadership, whoever it is, what do we want a young adult to be at our church? Because no one has an official definition of what a young adult is. It just doesn't exist. So you just need to figure out, hey, we want it to be 18 to 24. Okay, cool. Or we want it to be 18 to 29. Great. That's awesome. Just define what it is for your church
Yeah.
and then beat it into the ground. Whenever we say young adults, we're talking about 18 to 29-year-olds. We're talking about this to this. I think that's what it needs to be. And well, I'll stop there for now. I know we're going to talk more. I'm going to let Nate jump in, but that would be like my first thought, is just like, you just define it, because there's not an agreed upon definition. And so whatever you think it should be, you go all in on that.
Yeah.
And then you just bring that to your church and say, hey, for our church, this is how we're going to define a young adult.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that is defined across the board is that a young adult is, just like it's elementary in the sense it's an adult who is young. Like that's
Yes.
literally the
Yeah.
definition of a young adult. And so, yeah, where do you stop being young is a great question for you to ask when it comes to your church. I know some great churches that do 18 to 24. I know some great churches that do 18 to 29. But it's that entering your 20s, and your 20s is what you're looking for. And the reason being is because, this group of people are entering in college and then leaving college, and they're hungry for community. And so that's really what a young adult is looking for. That's why it's so important to have a young adult space, because if we don't give it to them, the bar down the street will.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If we don't give it to them, the club down the street will. And we know that there's more to life than what they're trying to find it. The world is doing an incredible job at giving young adults opportunities to find community. It's not life-giving community, but community nonetheless. And so for us, we are valuing the young adult stage of life, that age range of life, by helping them find godly community, godly friends, and not just people to hang out with and get drunk with on Friday nights.
And okay, let me ask you guys this. So, do you feel like your church's demographic should really dominate the decision that you make on these are who young adults are in our church? And should there be like layers to this that goes, hey, the majority of young adults that we're going to have in our church are those that just graduated our youth ministry, right? And the pastor feels compelled to say, hey, launch a young adult ministry or launch this. We got a college down the street. Well, down the street means 27 minutes. Do you know what I mean? So freshmen and sophomores don't have vehicles, do you know what I mean, until they go home. So just thinking through, like, come down to 1,000 people church, 500 people church, 100 people church, talk large church, do you know what I mean? Because even with that, you guys both see different nuances on the age range of a young adult that dominates your young adult ministry. So do you feel like your church's demographic should really like drive that?
Yeah, I mean, you're called to pastor your church, right? You're not called to pastor the church down the road
Yep.
or across the country. You're called to pastor your church. And so really ask the two questions of, what do my people need? And where do we want our church to go? Like those are those are two questions you need to ask. And so what do my people need? The people, the sheep that God has already blessed me with.
Yep.
Well, do we have a lot of college students or do we have a lot of young professionals?
Yeah.
Well, dictating your young adult community and discipleship based on that question, but also looking at the vision that God has given you. And do you want to, is this a demographic that you haven't reached that your city needs you to reach? Well, that's great. Where's God calling your church to go and to do? There's a church right down the road from us who it has an incredible young adult ministry. They see 70 to 80 young adults, but they're incredibly healthy and incredibly successful because they don't define success the way that we define
Yeah.
success.
Yeah.
Like, how does your church define
Mhm.
success? Like, we are a growing church with multi-site campuses.
Yep.
And so for us, like, a part of our health comes from the fact of numerical growth, both spiritual and numerical growth. Well, this church down the road, 80 young adults is awesome because they're also doing some like in-depth discipleship and then community hangs, pickleball, all of the fun stuff. And I'm close with their young adult pastor, and he's like, we don't need to be another you guys. We need to be
Yep.
us. Like, God's called us to pastor our church. And so it's understanding how do you define success at your church? Who has God given you to care for, and who's the sheep in your room, and what is he calling you to actually focus on when it comes to your city?
Yeah, that's great. I think
That's great.
that 18, when you turn 18, really your life up to this point has been pretty clearly like laid
Yeah.
out. Like
Yeah.
this is what you do. You go
Yeah.
to elementary school, you go to middle school, you go to high school, and then you graduate. And then it's choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's college, or it's gap year, or it's move back in with mom, or move out, or it's move out of the state to go to school, or it's enter a trade, immediately go into the workforce. I mean, dude,
Yeah.
like there's in military, there's so many
Military. Yeah.
options.
Yeah.
So I think the thing that was really difficult for me when I first started, when I was trying to talk about some of these like high level vision conversations, was a lot of people still in their brains think it's college, then career, then marriage,
Yeah.
then kids. And
Yeah.
it's a nice, neat order and process that everyone follows. And you're going to do this step, and then you're going to do this step, and then
Hmm.
you're going to do this step, and then you're going to do this step. Honestly, because for a long time, that's the way that it was.
Yeah.
Now, it's not like that. The 20s have become this elongated, emerging adulthood. And you could
Yes.
have people who
Yeah.
do college, career, marriage, kids in that order. You have people
Yep.
that do it backwards. You have people that do this before that. You have people at 25 that have done all of them. You have people at 25 that have done none of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that you need to identify which stages do we feel graced to lead. And your church might say, hey, we want to go after the college stage.
Yep.
Great.
Great.
Go
Yeah.
all in on the college stage. You may say, we want to go after the young professional stage. Great. Go all in. Hey, we want to go for young married couple. Awesome. Go all in. I
Yeah.
think that you can succeed in just putting everything into one stage. I think you can also succeed by saying, hey, we want to be a place where multiple life stages
Yeah.
can find community if they fall within this age range and age pool. I do believe that that is possible. I just think that you are working against assumptions that a lot of people have in their brain about, well, whoa, a 20-year-old and a 27-year-old in the same place at the same time. That's just weird. And I'm like, no, it's really not. Like a
No.
20-year-old who started working in corporate right out the gate and is working a desk job has a lot more in common with a 27-year-old than they do a
Yes.
20-year-old down the street who's at school at the university of whatever, living in a dorm and doing
Yep.
the classic
Yep.
college life. So I think that for us it has been about thinking a lot more about how do we bring different life stages together so that they can connect in community. And it's not as easy as, oh, all the 19-year-olds just are all doing this and on this track,
Yeah.
right? So that's a roundabout way to get to your answer. But this is the first time in someone's life where they can do any stage at any age. And there's
Yeah.
no particular
It's
order
good.
that is
Correct.
right
It's
or
really good.
wrong. And you say that out loud, and then people are like, oh, yeah, cool, I got it. That makes sense. But it doesn't, it's not clocking to a lot of people. At least that's not how they're thinking about it before you kind of like explain that. And all the data and stuff backs that and supports that. So
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
so go ahead. No, no, go
nah,
ahead.
I think just the mindset of, you know, young adult is a stage, not an age. Like, well, what we're doing at that point is just putting expectations that, okay, the only people that are young adults are people who are immature, and it's like, no, like, get out of here. Like,
Yeah.
that's not how we're going to define this age range. That's not how we're going to speak into them. Like, they have incredible skills and giftings
Yep.
in this age range, so it's not just the specific stage like you mentioned. And I think what you do is when you see it as a stage, you look down upon this stage of
Mhm.
young adults because it's like, oh man, those are baby Christians, those are baby disciples. Like, they'll be out of that stage once they actually
yeah, they're
do
like
this and this.
weird singles that haven't found a spouse yet. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and it's like
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
that's not a value to them, nor is it a value for them for the church. So I think it's just like you said, just that age aspect. I think when it comes to what, for those that are listening, when it comes to, the question of what should your focus be on, that the age range. I don't know who said it, but the question of how many kids should you have when it comes to you, like, you and your wife. Someone said, have as many as you can disciple, which is
Mm,
a incredible answer.
yeah, that's a good answer.
I think the same thing when it comes to
Hmm.
choosing what your focus is for your church. Like, who you can you disciple well as your church. Like, don't bite off more than you can chew, because then you're just going to hurt people in the process
Yep.
and leave them as converts and not disciples. And so, what can you actually commit to as a church? What can you resource well with both
Hmm.
time
Yep.
and money?
Yep.
And commit to that. If you can't do the age range of 18 to 29, great. Maybe you're
Don't.
called to 18 to 24, that college age range, and that
Yep.
25 to 29-year-old, you put a focus of getting them connected into your
Yep.
adult ministries, your men's and women's groups. So, but I think just going back to what Jordan really talked about, just be clear. Be clear on what it is. Like, clarity is kindness, so be clear.
All right. You guys have mentioned a couple things that I'd like to talk about because I think they're healthy conversations. You said have as many kids as you can disciple. I think capacity is a something that more conversation should be had around because I think that what I love about the guy that has an 80-person young adult ministry understands his capacity better than most because he said the statement, I don't need to be another you guys
Mhm.
because in no world can he pull off what you pull off. So why would a young adult want to go to a service, do you know what I mean, that
Oh yeah,
looks
sure.
exponentially, do you know what I mean, less than what they receive from you? And then a young adult would want to go to that young adult ministry because they're either connected to the church, connected to the pastor, or connected to a person in the ministry. But a young adult ministry like yours, Nate, and yours, Jordan, allows people who have no community that isn't in the church to step into your young adult ministries and find Christ and find other people. Do you know what I mean? And realize church is pretty awesome. Like Jesus is pretty great. Like this is kind of fire. You know what I mean? Like I think I'm going to stick here and find my people here. And
Yeah.
if God calls them to something like that church, do you know what I mean? And has them in an 80 people young adult ministry, that's amazing. But I think the capacity thing is we feel like we have to pull off a service. We feel like we have to perfect small groups. And it's like, man, okay, my pastor said I've got to reach a young, the young adults. Like you said, like we talked about this. Well, what does that mean? Well, we define it, we clarify it, we focus on it, and we begin to build it. How would you guys help an audience? Because we talked a lot about vision and mission and things like that on the last one. Let's get granular, even make yourself uncomfortable with some of these, answers, so to speak, on like what would you tell someone, when they're looking at a blank slate of building a young adult ministry, or a blank slate of tearing down, the culture of what was built before, and new leadership and new vision and new mission. How would you help someone focus on how to evangelize, how to pastor? Do you know what I mean? What are some sermon series that you guys are working on, or things that you're preaching? And when it comes to size, and resources and ability, are all of your young adult volunteers that you use serving in the youth ministry? You know what I mean? So how would you pull off something like that for young adults that is happening down the street, so to speak? So I would love for you guys to talk about like how to walk someone through understanding their capacity, their church's capacity, and how they execute something with excellence. We talked about this last time, but it's like excellence doesn't mean big. Excellence doesn't mean, the largest ministry in town. It means caring so intentionally about what is in your hands, that you do it in a way that allows people to feel a part, fascinated, excited, encouraged, and ready to go and continue to build upon what you're giving them in your ministry. So
Why don't we just let Thomas talk? Because that was really good.
sorry, I don't
I'm
know.
just playing.
Capacity is I don't know. I just don't feel like that's like the favorite thing that we should talk about. And it's like, brother, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
going to say this. It's okay. I'm going to say this. Sometimes we need to help people understand that they're probably not suited to pull off a service.
Yeah.
And it's not even their church's capacity. It's them. And they may be called to build a young adult ministry. And we should be kinder to those people and help them build a young adult ministry around their skill sets and their capacity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. These aren't fully filtered thoughts, but I'll do my best. What I was going to say is you don't necessarily need a service. Like young adults don't necessarily need a separate service. They need a space. And so if you're in this stage of, man, what's our first step of getting young adults connected with one another? It's not the fact that I don't know. Church is so weird sometimes, where you think, man, the only way for us to actually do ministry is to put on this hour-long service and worship and a
Yes.
message, which
Yes.
granted we do, and I love our services, don't get me wrong, but it's not necessarily the only picture of church. And so if you're in the spot of figuring out, I'm not necessarily resourced for a service, that's great. Then don't have a service. Hey guys, after church on Sunday, we're going to have our young adults meet at so and so's
Yes.
house, or we're
Yep.
going to go meet at this restaurant, and we're going to build community. Like, you got to start somewhere. I would just say is like, go and start somewhere. Don't just sit on your hands until you're like, all right, we have to have a worship leader, and we have to have a graphic designer, and we have to have a videographer, and we need to do the social media push, and we need to no, just go and do it. Go and put something on, and start with the young adults that are actually coming to your church and already believing in your vision. And then disciples make disciples. As you disciple them, and as you create a culture where they say like, man, I really enjoy hanging out with these people, they're going to invite other people to come and be a part of that. And maybe one day, if your goal is to have a service, then have a service. But you can have an incredible young adult ministry also without services. So
yeah,
it's good.
When you nail down who your target audience is, like when you actually figure out, hey, we are reaching this life stage. Like we've defined young adult as this, and we are going after these people. You know who you are now.
Yeah.
And when you know who you are, you also know who you're not. And so I think that as you think about not even just services, but as you think about language, as you think about topics
Yeah.
that you use, I mean, like even for us, like when I first came in, we were predominantly a college campus ministry.
Yep.
And I had a little bit of a bigger vision for, no, we need to be a citywide thing to reach multiple life stages that are present within the 18 to 29-year age range. And so we expanded it, which meant our language had to change. We're not saying words like university and college and stuff, dorms and stuff
Yep.
like from the stage anymore, because
Mm-hmm.
there's a whole lot of people in this room now who are going to instantly tune out when they hear that and they see that. So it allows you to be way more understanding and clear about who are the stages we're reaching and
Yes.
what are their
Yes.
problems and what are their questions. College students are asking very different questions about dating and relationships and sex than young married couples.
Yep.
They're all thinking about it and talking about it, but they're asking very different questions. So if you are talking to one stage or you are talking to many stages, just be hyper aware of the language that you're using, because
It's
you may
good.
unintentionally be turning off a lot of people. You're talking about dorm rooms and classes
Yes.
and blah, blah, blah. It's like,
Yes.
dude, I'm
Yes.
27. That's like an alternate
Yes.
universe to me. Like that is,
That was
you're
7 years
telling me
ago.
that
It was
I'm
literally
old
7
and
years
I
ago.
don't
Yeah.
belong here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that, again, to Nate's point, yeah, I think young adult ministry is about building community, and it is about answering the questions and solving the problems that young adults in your stage are genuinely asking. And you can do that sitting with five people around
Yes.
a campfire or a bonfire,
Yes.
and someone can bust out a Bible or just have conversations about life and talk about the questions that we have, because with the specific stage of life that we're in, and we're building community in the process. So I think the service is like the cool, flashy thing, and there's nothing wrong with it. But if young adult ministry is really just about building community and solving problems that young adults have with God's word and with community, then you just got to know, yeah, who you're working with. And then you just got
Mm-hmm.
to know, like, what are their actual problems?
And I, again, like, I think this is one of the things I talk about when I say, like, let's get granular. As you just, Jordan, gave someone a playbook on how to be excellent at something that doesn't cost anything. Do you know what I mean? Like financially, it
Hmm.
costs you in attendance. Do you know what I mean? And passion and vision and stuff like that. Whenever you get up there and you isolate a specific age, do you know what I mean? And yet you've got all stages and ages in a room. That's excellence. Whenever you go before you go on a stage, you're preparing who's going to make announcements. Hey, let's run through this because I want to make sure you're not speaking to the room like it's a college
Yep.
pep rally or something like that. And so I really appreciated that. I think that that's something that's helpful because I think although we've said it twice now, is like excellence doesn't mean big. Well, I think that people kind of have a definition of what they think excellence is, and it's big churches, and that's how they got excellent. You know what I mean? It's not typically the truth. They typically just didn't veer from a vision, had a culture, and they never stopped being who they are. And I think that again, like you guys are giving really, really, really good advice.
Oh,
I
thanks,
just
buddy.
but you guys always do, man. I really appreciate y'all. I'm being serious. Like, if any of you guys are listening out there and you're like, man, I really would love to connect to Nate and to Jordan, do it because these guys, they rag on me, but they also uplift me and they
We do.
encourage me.
We do.
And I know if I genuinely needed these guys to speak life over me or to help me in something in my ministry, I know that they would spend intentional time with me because it's who they are. And so I really appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys on that. So, let me ask you this, okay? Because we talked about that. Are either of you thinking about like how to impact young adults outside of a service and small groups, and then the hangouts of the restaurants and stuff? Are either of you thinking about pulling off a camp for young adults or some crazy conference weekend? And if
Mm.
you are, how did you get there, and why did you get there?
Short answer is no.
Okay,
I mean, the short answer is no, not yet.
okay, tell me
Um,
why.
I just took over young adults in August, and there were some just cultural things that I needed to shift that took the priority over doing something like a conference or a camp or a retreat. Um, the things that we do every single week needed attention,
Love it.
not just the things that you do a couple times or once a year. I mean, that's why I think for unhealthy ministries, youth ministries, young adult ministries, I think one of the first things that you should do is cut all extra events,
Yep.
because you're giving so much time to events and where you actually need to be giving that time to what you do every single week.
Every single week.
Um, when I took over our youth ministry 4 years ago, I cut every single extra event and told my team, no, we're going to see every Wednesday night as an event,
Yep.
because we do every Wednesday night, and we're going to focus on making those higher quality. We're going to simplify things and do the things that we need to be doing um, well. We're going to make sure that we're doing those things well. Same
Yeah.
thing. I ran almost the same play when it comes to young adult ministry. When I took over, it was like, yeah, I'm not even thinking about a conference. I'm not thinking about a retreat. I'm not thinking about a camp. Hopefully, in the next couple of years, we're able to, add that.
It's good.
Especially, I think a leadership retreat would be awesome to do
Mm.
with our team. But we needed to focus on the things that were actually killing our ministry,
Mhm.
and not just the things that are like, oh, this would be super fun. It's like, yeah, it's
Yep.
super fun, but it's not needed, and you're just going to waste a lot of resources and energy on something that's not
Yep.
actually going to help your ministry overall.
Yeah.
It's good.
Uh, yeah, I'm in the same spot. The answer is no. Will we do it in the future? Maybe. The two reasons that we're not like cooking up anything right now that's like a camp or conference for young adults. Number one is I just don't have vision for it. So the reason
Bar.
would just be like because it's what I think other people would think is cool, which is not a good reason. So that's the first reason. Second reason, and this is like again back to macro level conversation about young adult ministry fitting within inside the greater scope of your church. My church is, I know everyone this isn't the case, but like our church is known nationally for camp. We do camps well. And maybe your church isn't known nationally for camp, but maybe your church does something really well.
Yeah.
And it actually makes a lot more sense for you just to push young adults to be a part of that thing instead of just making your own
It's
version
good.
of it.
It's a
So
bar.
maybe that's groups, maybe that is trips, maybe that's serving, whatever. But I mean, we have like man camp and like people come from all over the world, like legitimately from all over the world
To be a part of it,
to
yeah.
to be a part of it. And
Mhm.
if we did a camp, it wouldn't be nearly as good as it. It like just the
And
the
that
the
man
the,
camp
the
serves the men that are in the
all,
ages of
all of
18 to
them,
29,
all
probably
of them, yeah,
teenagers, middle
and
schoolers. Yeah.
yeah, and we also do woman camp,
Yeah.
and so it's like I would
There
be
you
just
go.
Yeah,
making
I
a
got asked to speak at
less.
I got asked to speak at your women camp. I don't know why.
Oh, that was weird. Yeah.
Oh my
Um,
God.
I just
Oh
think
God, I
like
love you, Nate.
we already do it well. And I don't have a vision for doing like something that would be solving a problem or creating like a new thing
Yep.
it's just like inventing a new thing just for the sake of inventing a new thing. And I don't got time for that.
Yep.
So, yeah, the answer is no.
The reason I asked that question is because you do not understand how helpful your guys' responses were. I think it's easy to use space in your mind to dream up things that you do not have the vision for or the capacity for. Do you know what I mean? And both of you just said it. I'm gonna use the things that our church does really, really, really well, and then I'm gonna focus on the things that should be producing fruit or are producing fruit. Nate said, "Hey, these young adult services we're doing should be producing fruit." And from what I can tell, it's not. It's not the fruit that should be being produced. And so everything else, nah, off the table. I literally don't want to see anything but this. And if you come to me, this is what we're going to be talking on. This is what we're going to be focused on. This is what we're going to build from. And from that, you talked about the increase, numerical growth that you had, that we would use fruit or success. I like both of them. I think it's successful and fruitful what's happening in Tampa. Same thing with you, Jordan. You talked about, you know what I mean, the massive wave of young adults that have come into your ministry, and I genuinely think it's because both of you have always been really good at this, as being able to put the horse blinders on and go, although I probably could at my best or even at my medium pull off something that would be awesome, would be cool, would be impactful or whatever. But for this season, You know what I mean? And it's funny how this season turns into like majority of our life. But for this season, I'm going to focus on this because I know what my hands, you know what I mean? The
Yeah.
work of what my hands can do in something. And both of y'all are living proof of that. You've seen God move exponentially in your ministries. And so I want to put this in, y'all's court, so to speak. Encourage somebody who feels frustrated, who feels like they lack vision, like they lack clarity, and but yet they have that desire. You know what I mean? To build specifically for their church and honor maybe the call that they have from God on their life, or the call that the pastor, you know what I mean, gave them to start a young adult ministry or to tear down the one we have, and to rebuild it. Would you encourage somebody out there that's going, I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to preach. I don't know how to build, because we know this, but encouragement can go a really long way in the life of a young pastor. So.
It's a great question. There's always two sides to me. There's the tough love side, and then there's
Give us both. Give us both.
there's
Because your
like
tough love side is for real.
I mean, yeah, the tough love side is like, do it. like
Really
get your
hard.
hands
Yeah.
dirty. It's
Yeah.
hard work. It is. It's hard
Yeah.
work. It's supposed to be hard. You're fighting the enemy every single day you show up to work. Like, yeah, do it.
I love it.
I
I'm going to clip that.
understand. I understand the aspect of like, oh my gosh, like I need clarity, I need vision. It's like, no, you don't. Like God's put a calling on your life to go and make disciples, go and make them. Like and stop comparing. I think for me, like looking at like the race in which you're called to run,
Yep.
like it's keeping your eyes on the Lord. It's not keeping your eyes on the church right next to you, or you're putting on a conference and you expect to be Passion City Conference. That's not going to happen. Like just be real with yourself. Like do what God has called you to do in the city that you're called to do it, in the church that you're called to do it. Like that's the tough love. Is like, okay, it's really hard. Yes, it is. It's really hard, but still suck it up and do it. Like that's the tough love side. Um, the other side of it is, I mean, obviously there's the aspect of like, man, don't do it alone. Like you need people like this that can
Yeah.
encourage you, that can share tough love with you, but can also, when you call them, like if you talk to my friends in ministry, you guys included, I'm usually the tough love guy
Yeah,
where it's
you
just
are.
like you call it, it's just like, all right, like but I hope I'm not the only person in your life. Like I hope you also have somebody who's that
That's a
hype guy.
bar.
Like
Oh, man, that's a bar.
Thomas is my hype guy.
Thomas is
Like
the hype guy, boy.
I need a tough love guy and I need a hype guy. And it's like Thomas is that hype guy for me. If I call Thomas any day of the week, like he's
Right.
got the spiritual gift of encouragement, like
Hmm.
1000% has the
Hmm.
spiritual gift of encouragement. I don't have the spiritual gift of encouragement. Like I'm gonna tell you what you're doing is stupid and you should stop doing it and you need to do this instead. Like that's just it. Like I have a spiritual gift of discernment to be able to discern what's going to
Discouragement.
be. Yeah,
Discouragement.
no, discernment.
It's hilarious.
um, but I think don't do it alone. I think like when it comes to like getting involved into Young Pastors Network, it's like, bro, like literally a network of young pastors that you can find friends. Like it's
Yes.
hard. It's especially once you get married and you start a family and you have kids and you're in a full-time job, like it's hard to find community and find friends with like-minded people. It's like you need something like Young Pastors Network in your life. Like you got to sign up for it if you haven't signed up for it, because it is that good.
Mm.
um
You
but
chasing
then
the nail,
also,
Nate.
That wasn't tough love. That was genuine right there.
yeah, that
That
was
dude don't
genuine.
hand out compliments very much.
That was genuine. And then man, fight for clarity. Like fight for clarity. Like you got to,
That's good.
if your job is to be the next gen pastor or the young adult pastor or whatever it is, like you need to continue to fight for clarity and say, hey, like I need to know what target you expect me to hit. As my lead pastor, as my senior pastor, man, paint the target for me. Because I can hit the bullseye, but I don't want to be hitting the bullseye of the wrong target. So
Yeah.
can you help me
Wow.
understand
Mm.
what you hired me for? So that's it.
It's great. I don't have a ton to add on to that. My encouragement would be young adults, probably more than any other group of people, at least that I've worked with, feel invisible. They feel ignored. They feel overlooked, and often a lot of times by the church. I think that if you start doing stuff and actually show that you care and that you see them
You're
and
kind
that
of
you know
calm,
what's
bro.
going on, dude, they are so gracious and they are so willing to help and they are so honest, arguably too honest, about what they want and what they don't want and what they're looking for and what they're not looking for. And if you will just like pull up a seat and listen, they'll tell you, bro, they'll give you all the sermon series for the next year in literally 60 seconds. And so, man, I would just say, like, I think that there's small things that you can do that have massive return, and anyone can do them. And so, I would just encourage you just to say, like, get together with a few people, buy them some coffee, ask what's challenging, what's hard, what they're looking for, what they're not looking for, what you want to talk about, and
Yeah,
then just let them like write the play and run the play, and they will be so gracious. And honestly, I don't even know if that's encourage. It's just like it's advice, but it's also just encouragement, just to be like, I just want to say, like, you're probably making it harder than it needs to
harder.
be.
Yeah.
That's encouragement right there. That's a bar. That's
Um,
good.
yeah, that really, and I don't know if that sounds simple or cliche or what, but like, you probably are making it harder than it needs to be. If someone's like, man, how did you like think about what you want to talk about and all that? And it's like, I don't know. I just like went to lunch with a young adult and he just like told me.
Oh, what a
I was like,
concept.
yeah. I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, we can talk about that. Sure.
It's
Oh
great.
man, thank you guys so much for your continued time. We'll continue to have conversations with you. It won't always be about young adult ministry because you guys both have immense value to add to the church and to the life of a young pastor. If both of you would, can you let them know how to find you on
Mm.
socials and whatnot? Because people will want to, because both of you are great.
We were just talking the other day. I'm not really like posting on social like that.
It's okay, man.
Thomas saying I
He
should, but
he he will respond to your DMs. I will say that because he does respond to
sure.
my
Yeah, yeah,
DMs.
yeah. It's just
So
my name, Jordan McClarnon. Use code Thomas for 10% off.
I
Um,
love this.
yeah, that's what it is. I don't know. I'm on it, but I'm not. But yeah, let's connect.
Yeah. My handle's Nathan_Richie. Nate Richie on Instagram mostly. I don't really use anything else
He is active. He is active. Both of
Mm.
them. I would love for you guys to
active.
encourage them through this to just post more. I actually really did love the carousel that Nate posted. I think it was yesterday or
Oh,
It
today.
thank
was
you,
all
I think it
right.
was
man.
yesterday.
It
Yeah,
was all right.
it was
It
all
was
right. It was all right.
profound.
No, uh, funny story before we end. I called Nate the last time him and I had like a deep conversation. He just listened and he just left me with one sentence, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I just wanted something. I mean, and he was like, "Hey man, I gotta go, but I'm just gonna leave you with this. What are you doing?" And then he legitimately hung up. I was like, "Well, okay,
I
Lord, I'm gonna go ask you what am I doing because I called him and
don't
that's
even
what he
remember
said."
this. That sounds like me, but I don't remember this.
Oh man,
Yeah.
seriously, I love you guys.
Well,
Thank you
now I
guys so
remember
much.
I had another friend of ministry. I'll tell you this story just a couple months ago, and he was just kind of just venting to me, right? Venting to me about everything that he was going through, about just like how just like the weight of it, and just like overcommitting and things like
Yeah,
that.
I can't wait to hear what you.
And he gets done, and I go, I don't know if this is gonna help you, but it's your fault. And he goes, yeah, you're right. It is my fault. And I was like, but it doesn't have to stay that way. If it's your fault, then that means
It's the
you also
encouragement, not
you
Richard.
also have the ability to fix it. So yeah, sometimes people just need to hear like you the pain and the weight that you're feeling. It's because you did it to yourself.
Yeah, yeah, you did. Yes, I did, and that's what you were reminding me on that phone call. So, but for real, thank you guys so much. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Thomas.
Peace.
Bye.
Peace.